Good evening, boys. Okay, so we're going to look at the lineup for tomorrow's game. Bit of a difference again. We won't be playing 5 in the middle, we'll be playing 5 at the back this week. It's ever so slight difference on the take of having 5 across the middle. We put more emphasis on the defensive positions. So we'll start at the back here with Milan, who none of us know. Ray knows. And I think that Tane perhaps knows Milan. I don't know if any of us have seen him in goal on an 11-a-side game, but I understand he's quite decent. So hopefully I have a bit of confidence in goal this week. Starting in the middle, Carl will be playing, and he will hold that defensive role, centre midfield. To his left side we'll have Pat, to his right we'll have James Way. James Holden will be out as a wing back on the right side, and Ray will start as a wing back on the left side. So these guys obviously will be defensive players, however we want to see them getting down the line, make some overlapping runs until either of them completely run out of puff and can't run anymore. We are going to be working with a very tight defensive 3 in the middle. What I mean by tight is that the gaps between them won't be much more than 5 metres at any one point. We do not want these guys separating and creating huge gaps in the middle. So what we'll be looking to do is to, in really deep defensive positions, is pull Alex back if it's ball on that side, or pull Joel back if there's a ball on the right side. But these 3 must stay connected at all times, otherwise it will break down quite easily. So that leaves Alex up front and Joel up front. So we're looking for these guys to scare the back line with a little bit of pace and hopefully start feeding them some balls. So the first thing to talk about is probably goal kicks. I'm hoping Milan, being a proper keeper, will be able to start getting goal kicks into the midfield area. And if he can do that, then we need to know what the setup's going to be. So what we'll do here is just take these names out now that we know what the team is, and we will use let's use blue today. So Carl in the middle, Pat over here, James here, James Holden out here, Ray there, Tommy in the middle, Ollie Batty, Bad Belly Batty on the right, and our very own Ollie on the left, and then we'll have Alex on the left, Joel on the right. So that's how we're going to start. Now on goal kicks, previously we've had big issues, A, because we haven't had proper keeper, and B, because kicks have not been long enough. So we were dropping balls into this kind of area, and immediately we're under big pressure, because the team knew it, the opposition knew it, and they would push up on us and make it very difficult for us just to get out of our own half. So hopefully Milan will be able to hit some long balls. If he can't, we'll be looking at getting Pat to take these goal kicks and find some wide areas. I want the goal kicks coming up here and the other side. We want to be hitting the lines with the goal kicks, and I'll explain why shortly. I don't want to be regularly hitting the centre of the field. So what we're looking to do on goal kicks, if Milan can't hit those long balls, goal kicks, we'll get Pat to do it, and then Pat will then follow up on defence. But what we should do is keep this defensive 3 quite deep here, okay, because there is just 3 of them. But what we will be doing is being quite brave, and we're going to push both wing backs right up. If we're hitting these wing backs, that's going to be Ray over here. This is going to be James, and Ray and James need to measure the goal kicks themselves. They need to understand how long it's likely to go, and I want these guys in forward positions approximately where the ball's landing on goal kicks. So Milan or Pat will be hitting long balls up into these areas, and I also want the forwards not quite as wide, but I want them wide. And the reason why I want them to do that is because it's very likely there will be at least 3 defenders. There will be at least 3 defenders on their team. And the only way to isolate this guy is, and to make sure that we've got 1 man extra, is to make sure that this guy isn't marking anybody. Now, being a central defender, he would not want to come over here and mark someone over here, because it leaves that in the middle, big old hole. So we'll be hitting wide areas with our goal kicks in order to isolate this man. It means he's got nobody to mark, which means we've got an extra man. So we then should be able to take advantage of the fact that we've got an extra man. So the midfield should be in here, perhaps picking up any rebounds, any headers that come off, and picking these up in the midfield areas. These guys need to remain quite tight. If a ball should come out here, everyone should shift over. If there's a header forward, same on the other side, shift together just to protect this position here, and then we will obviously get Ray back in and create a 4 at the back. So these guys must work very similarly. Whoop, that's a goner. These guys at the back must also work very similarly to these guys in the middle. And what you have then is a very close, tight unit of 6 in the middle of the park. Now these boys should be able to move the ball all the way around here without any trouble at all. Every one of these players has the ability to make simple, short passes. Now there are some guys in there also, namely Pat and Tom, who like to hit some long balls. So that's what we were looking for these guys. If we get the ball back round and recycle in these areas, we want Pat and Tom looking at hitting some long balls. We've got Carl in here, we've got Ollie in here that likes to run with the ball, so we know that Ollie wants to get forward into those positions. And then what these guys do in the middle is they create a triangular shape like this. And so if he loses the ball, if Ollie's running with the ball and he loses the ball, there's always support and backup behind him. Okay, so they work still in a close 3, but they stay tight. They're not to get making runs out here. The moment he starts making runs out here, there's bloody great big holes. So this midfield 3 have to work really tightly together, 5 metres apart in a tight 3. So do these guys. Okay, so you ask yourself, well, what happens if they pick up the ball here, the opposition, and they hit some long balls, and then there's some runs in this way? Well, this covers in a line of 3 like this until this man comes back in. This guy over here will fill the gap at the back. So these wing backs, they are defenders, okay? And this line of 3 needs to know where they are, and they need to be screaming at them to get back into defensive positions. Obviously it's going to be quite taxing on these guys because they're going to be up and down. But that's the role they're given, and they need to know that role. Okay, so working this system is about 6 players in the middle of the park working tightly together. What we'll so we've looked at the goal kick, so we want to be hitting the wide areas. The wing backs getting forward, and the forwards getting into some wide areas as well. Isolate this guy in the middle. He won't drop in here and start marking here because there's just so much space in there. But he'll be isolated, which means we've got an extra man, and we use that extra man to get forward. So that's what I want to do from goal kicks. If Raymond, you have contacts for Milan, you can send him the links to these videos so that he can have a look, and then Milan will know that we're hitting wide areas. But Pat will know anyway, and we'll have a chat with Milan in the morning if Ray can't speak to Milan tonight. So that's goal kicks. That's how we're going to get out. Okay, we know what happens when the ball's in play. Okay, we get forward, we make overlapping runs down here. Okay, we'll talk about that some more in a minute. But that's our shape, that's how we get out, and that's how we move forward up the park. So if we can make sure that those goal kicks, these boys come out wide. Lost another one. These boys come out wide. That's what I'm looking for. So we want to try that. If that doesn't work somehow, I'll make the decision to change it. On occasions, these guys will be high, these guys will be high. On occasions, we'll have Pat just fall out here, pick up a direct ball from a goal kick, Pat will come out there, no problem at all. And I'm happy to start playing the ball. You can look at switching it. James will be there, and then with Carl in the middle, and then we'll have Ollie here that needs to come and pick up the ball perhaps. But keep it tight, not too far away from this group of three. So I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to take some short balls. Hopefully, because we've isolated our man up here, we'll find ourselves at the back where there's only maybe two forwards and then three of us at the back. And if that's the case, yep, we can start picking up some short balls, occasionally hitting the longer balls, and then we'll have two methods of getting out. Okay, so let's give that a try tomorrow from goal kicks. I'll stop this video now, and then we'll have a look in a second at some more defensive parts of the game to make sure everyone knows their jobs and responsibilities. So 10 minutes and I'll be on another video.